Hello, my name is Erica Putis. I am curator for Playa Gallery, and I'm here with Greg Schaefer. He is one of our featured artists for our next show that is entitled Space and Surface, an Exploration in Art. And as you can see, his amazing sculptural artwork is behind us, and he's going to have a bunch of new pieces in the show. The show is on September 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. and the show is going to be running until November 1st. But we suggest that you come out to the opening. You get to meet him, and the other featured artist is Tracy Black. And there'll be food and wine, and we're super excited. Thank you for being in the show. And
you're welcome.
I'm really excited.
Very excited.
Yeah, so your work is really, really unique. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. Like, where did you come up with the idea to start working in this kind of textural, I don't know what you call it.
It's hyper textural and very sculptural in its meaning, in its origins rather. I originally started experimenting with all sorts of medium, all sorts of things. I first was dabbling when I first started. I wasn't being serious about it, wasn't trying to sell art or try to be a real artist. I was just slowly exploring and seeing what I could create and come up with, and I felt that this was my thing. Whoa. I really quickly understood what I could do with this. So,
cool. Is it like a secret? Is it something that you don't want other people to know?
It's industrial foam.
Oh, okay.
It's spray foam. And
cool.
When I first started, I was mixing my own, and I felt that I could create something that maybe you could see it, and maybe I had to explain it to you. And I thought that that would be special.
Yeah.
You know? And then I could then work around, coloring it after I texturize it.
Right.
I give it depth.
Right.
So my pieces first originated from flat aerial topographical pieces that I was building, and they, like this one over here, it's out of the shot, but sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. But that's how I first started. I did a couple of shows that way, and people understood quickly that that's what I was into, and I, quite frankly, I didn't understand what I was doing. I was just building it because it just had to get done. And then it was dawned on me, my father last December was like, well, you know what I see? And I was like, because my father worked for NIH for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And he was their main photographer there, setting up all displays, all promotional formats for them. And he just ingrained on me that this was something super special, because he was taking pictures of electron microscope imaging as far back as the 70s.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. How cool. So you didn't even know that you were being inspired by your father all these years?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then he saw it and then sent me a picture back, and I was like, yeah, I guess. And it was like,
thank you, actually.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah.
Okay, cool. What did you start with? Like, when you were younger, were you always doing art? Did you go to school for art?
Yeah, I originally, my mother had me in oil painting classes. I was really good at it. I felt I was good at it. Maybe I wasn't. But I really enjoyed doing it. I felt good at doing it. I did go to college, but I dropped out just because I didn't have money and my grades were failing and slipping, and I knew that I needed real discipline in my life. I stumbled around a couple years after that, after dropping out, and I joined the Marine Corps because I knew I needed the discipline, and I knew I had it in me to be a focused, professional individual, and I just needed that a butt kicking to get me going, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Yes, oh, absolutely.
Wow.
And no regrets at all.
Wow.
I was in a total of 9 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I just, I got out, raised my family. I've lived here for 20 years, almost 20 years now.
In San Diego?
Yes, right. I just felt at the time, the reason I got started is I was just kind of bored with doing the same old same, and I knew that I wanted to get back to my original intentions, which were to create artwork.
Oh, okay.
I used to give it away. When I was 19, 20, 21 years old, I would just make something and I had no concept that I was supposed to sell it, and my friends would be like, here, take the money, and I was like, what are you doing? So
you've been making art like your whole life, basically.
Yeah. Except I just
cool.
wasn't
focused
or
on it.
professional enough
Right.
about it to know that it was a viable career.
That's great.
So that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just got my wheels underneath me, and I'm going hard.
Taking off.
Yes, taking off. That's right.
That's awesome.
That's right.
How do you develop this work? It seems like it's kind of complicated, like a lot of layers and.
There's a lot of preparation that goes involved in it. I would say a great deal of preparation goes into it, as far as if you don't have all the steps out for each of the different parts, it won't really come out with a favorable outcome. So a lot of times what I'm doing is I have to figure out how to engineer them so that they last. Because I've had an idea when I first built this one, oh gosh, I didn't have any backing. There's no, in my mind, structural integrity to it. And I quickly remedied that, and then built from there on that concept of preservation, engineered pieces that will stand time.
The test of time.
The test
Right.
of time, because it's sculptural and because it's new. I feel like when I work with the foam, that I'm facilitating it. And by that I mean that as I'm applying it, I have to like wrangle it, even though I'm not really in control of it. So that's what I'm doing.
So you're trying to control the foam in a way.
Right, like wrangling a cat.
Right.
Good luck with that. But I can, there are tricks that I've learned over time. I've been doing this for a while now. So.
Yeah, and I know you've done some pieces where they're like hanging from the ceiling and
Right.
spinning with a motor.
You'll see that during the show.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see those
Yes.
in person. So, like, what made you want to start from
I-
doing the wall things
Right.
into like sculptural things that
My-
actually move
Right.
on their own?
my friend was talking about getting them off the wall.
Oh,
And
okay.
I said, okay, well, and I kept thinking, well, how am I going to do that?
Right.
And I decided that I'd build a sphere, and then as I'm building this piece, it was the biggest jarhead thing for me to do, is grab some 550 cord and just run it through. And it's 550 cord, if you don't know, it's a 550-pound test parachute cord. It's what our troops jump out of airplanes.
Oh, really?
Each of those cords is part of the cord for the parachute. So
Ah.
I grabbed that, I built this sphere. It's called Kratos. It was shown in another gallery, and it was received quite well. And I just thought that this is what I wanted, except I would change that up, and I went with monofilament. I'm currently using a 60-pound monofilament with those pieces, and I just, again, had to figure out how to engineer them so that they would look nice,
Right.
hold up, and they'd be really strong.
Right.
The pieces don't weigh any more than 2 or 3 pounds each. I do add weight to them. And,
Oh, you do?
Yes.
So that they're not, like,
They're-
if there's a breeze,
they're
it
not-
doesn't.
The breeze won't affect it. The motors can't support more than 4 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And I've had them modified to run at the slowest I could find for a remote controlled motor would be 10 RPM. I've had them modified down to 4 RPM.
Oh, cool.
It's quite nice.
Whoa.
And it slows down the movement, and it looks
Really
Nice.
cool.
That looks
Yeah,
really nice.
I'm excited. I'm super excited. So, this again is Greg Schaefer. The opening for his show and Tracy Black's show is on September 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. and you get to meet the one and only. And yeah, thank you for having me in your studio and for talking about it and being in the show.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.